When I was growing up, I thought for sure I was going to be a performer in an orchestra somewhere. I was going to be the principal bassoon of the New York Philharmonic, and that was going to be my career. Maybe someday, life is long, we'll see. But what I've come to realize is that I do get a thrill from being on the stage, from performing. And I still do. I play in groups, I play in small groups and orchestras and things like that. But I also perform as an actor, as a hobby on the stage. And there's something to be said for that type of exposure and that type of thrill and that type of experience of being on stage. But for me, the thrill also comes from experiencing amazing storytelling sitting from the audience. Storytelling can happen from someone just sitting there with a book, reading to you aloud, oh, the places you'll go. But also going and listening to Mendelssohn's Third Symphony, or going and hearing the Diary of Anne Frank, or seeing a brand new play that no one's ever experienced before, or hearing a great musical like $1 Million Quartet or something like this, where the story is just so rich and you find yourself identifying and empathizing and seeing through the eyes of these characters and putting yourself in their position. What would I do if I were in that spot? I don't know. And you watch the story unfold in front of you. To me, experiencing that from the audience perspective is just as moving as being the one to tell that story. And what I do in marketing communications, I pull upon that experience a lot about the fact of if I can be moved by the story and I can empathize with these characters and I can find the great storytelling that's happening in this, then promoting it and talking about it becomes so much easier. And that's one thing I can honestly say about the Arvada Center is that I never struggle to find something to say about the products and what we do here. I can always find something to get people interested, whether it's a gallery exhibition that features murals, whether it's a class that teaches people how to tap dance, whether it's a play that tells a story of someone who we had forgotten about, or it's a musical that just hits your heartstrings in the right way. There's something about all of these art forms that hit the human spirit. And that's my job, is to tell people, this is good for your spirit, and here's why it's good for your spirit.
Hello, I'm Philip Sneed, President and CEO of the Arvada Center for the Arts and Humanities. Since May, we've been raising money for our Reignite the Arts campaign. Our goal is to raise $1 million by October 31st. Each day we get a little closer to our goal, and we're so thankful to the donors who have lit a spark to reignite the arts. Thank you. As part of this campaign, you've met several members of our staff over the months who have been working hard to ensure the Arvada Center not only survives the pandemic, but thrives when we come out on the other side. This week, you'll meet our Director of Communications and Audience Services, Marcus Turner. Marcus just celebrated his 2-year anniversary with the Arvada Center, and in that short time, he led us through a rebranding, which included a new visual identity, logo, and brand voice. He oversaw the construction of a new user-friendly and mobile-optimized website, and when the pandemic hit, Marcus and his team pivoted from their normal job responsibilities and started providing engaging digital content. Marcus is effective at being a leader in this organization because he communicates effectively, both internally and externally.
So I was born in South Bend, Indiana, a little town on the border of Michigan and Indiana. We affectionately refer to the region where I grew up as Michiana. So I grew up about 5 minutes from the campus of the University of Notre Dame. And my parents kind of had that Midwestern sensibility. Come on over to the house, we'll have dinner together, lots of close friends, lots of close family growing up the whole time. It's that old adage of it takes a village to raise a family. I was raised in that kind of environment where it wasn't just me and my parents and my brother. It was me, my parents, my brother, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, our friends down the street, our neighbors. Everyone was involved in our lives. And I think that kind of atmosphere really shaped me into kind of the extroverted person that I am. I like to be around people. It's always a challenge in a small town if you feel different from the other people you go to school with. If you're not finding the group of people to fit in with. And I feel incredibly lucky. These formative years of my life were informed by acceptance and love and care for everything that I was doing and who I was becoming. The process of coming out, I came out when I was 14, and that's early, I think, for a lot of people in my generation, even especially in generations before me. But I felt safe in doing that. And that's all because of the people that I was around. It was this incredibly amazing, diverse group of friends. It was everything from Latino, Black, white, gay, straight, everything mixed together in one. I didn't ever have to question whether my family loved me for who I was. And I never had to question whether my friends were going to be there for me in this whole time. And God, I wish I could say that for every other queer kid in the world. I love to make people laugh. It's one of my favorite things in the world. If I can walk away and be like, that person laughed at what I said. I can't believe that. That's so amazing. But my parents are also very blue collar. I've never had the thought that things should just be handed to me. I've always had to work, and I've always wanted to work for what I should have in my life. My dad is a plumber. He's retired. He had his own plumbing business, Turner's Plumbing Service, plumbing for particular people. And my mom was a CAT scan technician. She just retired a few years ago, and she worked for the same hospital for 40 years. Longevity and commitment and all of those things were kind of values that they certainly instilled in me and my brother. My brother lives in Wisconsin and works at the University of Wisconsin Law Library. He's a law librarian. We all found our own individual passions in life, and I was always encouraged to kind of go after whatever I was passionate about and whatever I wanted to do. And it just so happened that what I wanted to do was be involved in the arts and in music and in theater. My parents aren't super musical. My brother is not super musical, but it's something that I had a natural talent for. It was like I picked up the right tool in my life, and it was something I was good at, something I liked doing, and it shaped my career, my decisions, and what I've done with my life since then. I was going to college in Chicago, and I met my husband while I was a senior in college. He was doing a master's program at where I was doing my undergrad. And, your eyes meet over a score of Shostakovich, That's not what happened. We don't need to get cheesy about it. He was living here. I was living there still, finishing my degree. And after a lot of soul searching and a lot of thinking about it, I really decided that it was the right thing to do to come to Colorado at that point. I went to the University of Colorado, Boulder, for my master's in music. And since then, I've really kind of pieced my life together. And I've worked in a series of things, but they've always had the arts involved in them. It's always something I've been really passionate about and keeping in my life. Once I was able to kind of insert myself into the arts community in Colorado, man, I discovered some amazing, amazing work that goes on in this place. From these tiny little organizations that are run by volunteers to the largest organizations in the Western region, like the Denver Center, the Zoo, the Museum of Nature and Science. It's a remarkable spectrum of work and arts and science and culture that we all have to work with here, or we all have to experience here in Colorado. And I feel really lucky that the Arvada Center is a part of that spectrum. After I came and saw a few shows at the Arvada Center, and I met some of the people who work at the Arvada Center, the decision became a lot easier for me. It was a place I wanted to be. It was a place surrounded by passionate people and really exceptional theater and music and art. Who would I be if I could not look in the mirror every day and say, what did you do today to make the world better for someone who it's not good for them right now? Inclusion, diversity, equity, all of these types of things could be dismissed as buzzwords, trendy, in the moment type things. For me, it's so much more than that. It's a deep, heartfelt expression of what I want to see in my life, in my career, and in the world. My avenue for making the world better is through the arts. I feel like I have so many things that I want to do in my life. And one of the things I want to do in my life is use arts to make people welcome, to make a more inclusive world, to make a more diverse world, and to tell the stories of those who have not been previously heard.
Like Marcus, The Arvada Center strives to be authentic in all that we do. From our volunteers to our staff, from our programs to our classes, we're focused on being true to who we are, what we do, and who we serve. Especially now during the pandemic, we're more focused than ever on being a flexible, innovative, and genuine organization. Empowering employees to be their true selves at work creates a more integrated team that cares about what they create and deliver to you, our audience. If you haven't made a gift to the campaign, please consider making a donation today to Reignite the Arts. Thank you.